small for me too. This sucks. Come on, get bigger. Get bigger. That's what she said. Cause I've got cards in nice cases where the commander astounds and my deck chases my friends away. Yee-haw! Come on, let's play. Yee-haw! I'm not big on tribal races. Think I'll search on through the databases cause I got cards. In nice cases.
Nice cases. Nice. I was going to do in low places.
No. Yeah, it's nice.
I like that. I tried to put my arm around you. You're too far away, and I was going to sway back and forth with you there. Friends in low places, Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks. Now, that was a request by Trombley.
Oh, nice.
So he did most of the writing on this one. I did a couple of tweaks, and I think it came out perfect.
Yeah, that was really good. I liked it. Very nice, Trombley. Give me a good suggestion and write it for me, please.
No.
Welcome to CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I am Adam Smith.
And I am Lowry Smith.
And we are in a different location this week. Plus, we are cousins.
Yeah, we are cousins. Yeah, don't forget that.
We are in...
They won't.
Yeah. We're in
my basement.
Lowry's basement. Episode number 2 for Lowry's basement.
Number 2 in Lowry's basement. Number 30. So that's...
this is a big brown number.
1 in every 15 you come down to my place. That seems pretty fair. I appreciate you coming down.
Lowry just got back from vacation literally a half an hour before I got here.
Yep.
We ordered Chinese food.
Of course.
He put down his little Lowry, which sounds... It sounded like I was talking about your penis.
It took an hour. It took an hour to put my little Lowry down. Super excited.
Yeah, so... Man, that's going to be the opener right there, and that's what the first minute and 30 seconds is going to be like, what?
That means we're going to have to be more funny sometime in the future.
Oh, Lowry putting his little Lowry down. Anyway, so yeah, this is on location at Lowry's place, Little Lowry and Lowry's place. So...
And my wife. It's probably more my wife's place. Yeah, let's not kid ourselves.
Get in trouble for us doing that. But yeah, anyways, you can catch us on Twitter. We don't have our little sheet that reminds us here. You can catch us on Twitter.
Where is our Twitter? I have no idea.
At CommanderSmiths.
And then you can email us at CommanderSmiths@gmail.com.
And then YouTube. Subscribe, follow, share, do all that fun stuff on YouTube.
And again, Adam really appreciates it when you talk about us on Twitter or any of that stuff.
Yeah, there was...
I think it's just making me more work, but that's fine. Adam really likes it.
Joshua,
is it
Swope? He mentioned us as his top 5 podcasts
that he enjoys listening to. Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. Thanks, buddy. But yeah, one other thing we did add this week was I actually finally got the Google Play up and running. So I had to actually submit everything to them, which I didn't realize. I thought Podbean had that already loaded up.
But no.
Because
Podbean's lazy.
Yeah, they do it with everything else. They upload it everywhere else. They put it on YouTube. They put it, Twitter. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think I had to click the icons, but they just didn't have the Google Play one there. So now it's all connected, so you Android users...
and the crowd goes wild.
Yeah, us Apple users have had this show for a while now, 30 episodes or 29 episodes deep.
Well, now we're just going to get a ton more listeners because...
Actually, I kept checking it to be like, all right, now I have it uploaded. Let's see how many... It's been up for like 5-6 days, and I was like,
normal.
Not a single person downloaded.
Nobody cares. It'll take some time.
Yeah, to transition.
We start out with like 20 listeners, and 3 of them were us.
Yeah. Just listening on different devices.
Yeah. How did I sound on the laptop?
What, does it sound the same on YouTube? Actually, I don't think we get YouTube counts. YouTube is a separate thing. No. Anyways, so this week...
It counts towards my pride, though.
To your pride. Yeah. Hey, if we get enough listens and subscribers on there, you get a YouTube button, which would be kind of sweet.
Oh. I don't know what that means, but
yeah, you got excited.
I would like a button for YouTube. Yeah.
Anyway, so this week's episode it's actually just really 2 segments because we had Ravnica Spoilers. We kind of mentioned from last week that they were going to start, and of course they started the day the podcast came out.
Yeah, so we were way behind.
2 before, but now we have about, I don't know, I think it's 15, no, it's like 20 or 25
Yeah, we'll talk about
spoilers.
Some of them.
But so the whole thing, we're going to go through the whole spoiler list, and then we'll end with our Smith specs of the week. So where should we go? What should we do?
Do you want to talk about your little bit of updates with Broodclad?
Oh, yeah. So as we've been doing lately with our decks, and some of you, after you listened to the episode last week, might have noticed that some of the cards we actually talked about in the episode
aren't even in there.
Weren't even
they didn't make the cut.
Yeah. So I put it all in there originally. If you got it right when I put it in tapped out, all the cards we talked about on the podcast were there. But then as I was doing that, I was actually starting to tweak my deck because I was I was editing the podcast, putting that in tapped out, and I was editing the deck at the same time. And there were quite a few cards where I was like, actually, I should have this in the deck. This needs to come out without even playing it. It just made sense. So some of the ads, well, first off, some of the ads I did was Goblin Rabblemaster. That just adds more tokens each turn.
Free stuff.
It's like what was the enchantment I had in there? Assault, the Goblin one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
Goblin Assault.
Goblin Assault. So it's just like that. And in fact, we'll get into this with our spoilers, but there's also a new one that does the exact same thing, just a little different. But it's Legion Warboss, which we'll talk about in the spoilers. So that'll probably get put in the deck eventually. And then I added Coat of Arms, which just makes sense because if you have Coat of Arms out there, you make all your tokens turn into whatever. They're all the same thing.
You have 5 of them. There's 6 6s.
Yeah, so
might as well.
Yeah, exactly. So threw Coat of Arms in there. Took Lowry's advice on the next 3 actually. Frost Titan, Inferno Titan, and then Splinter Twin. So I kind of tweaked it so it was more of my creatures I was going to be making copies of, or other players' creatures. But I made it so that it was now more of an even split where my big creatures that I cast can potentially turn into tokens, and then that could win the game. Because Inferno Titan's a great idea that Lowry had, because you change all yours to 3, 6 6s, and they all attack. Well, they're each doing 3 damage wherever you want.
Yeah, it seems really awesome. And Frost Titan just tapping a bunch of stuff down
that stays tapped.
Yeah.
So, and isn't it? It's just non-land permanent, or is it permanent?
Oh. I don't know. You put it in. I didn't.
So that means I should stop asking questions.
I'm not sure if it matters, yeah. This is your deck. I mean...
Well, we all know what Frost Titan does, but then we don't know if it's a permanent or non-permanent.
I don't know. I always forget what it does, and that's why I always fuck up on doing a removal.
Yeah, when you try to
did
kill
you pay
it,
2 more? And shoot it!
It's target permanent.
Permanent. Yeah. Tap down people's lands if you want.
Yeah, and it stays tapped for their next upkeep, so that's a pretty good ad. And then Splinter Twin, that's just reinforcing the making copies of your own tokens. So that's kind of why we put that in there. The ones I took out was Utvara. I don't have many dragons in there, so it really, for 7 mana to come out and then have to wait another turn.
You'd have to attack with it, make the token,
and
then another turn. It'd be 2 turns before it even does anything.
It just didn't make sense to have it in there. Day of Dragons, took that out because, 1, very high converted mana cost, but also you're making a lot of tokens, and then if you're flipping them over to 5/5s, the cool thing about
Day of Dragons doesn't do anything.
Yeah. Well, that, and also the cool thing about Day of Dragons is if you have regular creatures out, and then you flip them over to 5/5s, and somehow they destroy your enchantment, they come back. Whereas my tokens would flip to 5/5s, and they wouldn't come back because they're already gone.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's kind of working against what I'm doing.
Gotcha.
And like you said, Broodclad, it works against what he's doing there. I took out Efficient Construction because 4 mana drop, there isn't a ton of artifacts for casting wise. And for a 4 drop that gives you a 1/1 flyer, I was like, that isn't really helping as much as I'd like it. Also, Echo Storm. Broodclad costs so damn much, you're probably going to cast him once a game, maybe twice. So Echo Storm's really not going to help too much with that,
especially with not having a ton of artifacts in there either.
Right.
So.
And then we have Call the Skybreaker. That's also a big casting cost. It's
bunch
7.
Of mana.
Yep. And then the last one was Confirmed Suspicion. So I took out a counterspell. So I only have 1 counterspell in there.
You should still take a shower, though.
I took out Confirmed Suspicions because it gives you 3 clues where Spell Swindle, depends on if it's late game and you can't counter something that's huge, you get a crap ton of token or treasure tokens that you can use as mana as well later. And that's kind of, this deck was lacking a little bit of mana, so in replace for the confirmed suspicions. I put a land
another
in.
land in.
Yeah,
makes sense to me. I think they all sound like good changes.
Yeah.
So
it'd be fun to actually test this deck out, but I'm going on vacation starting in 2 days, and then I have my brother's wedding when we get back.
That's a really good point. We should actually say we're doing this on Thursday night this week.
Yep. So if spoilers come out tomorrow
they didn't
or
do
Saturday,
they didn't do any spoilers on Wednesday or Thursday here. So. We don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah, well,
really.
We do, but not as much as we would like
hoping.
to talk about.
Yeah.
Because how they started it off, we got the spoilers over the weekend. And
they did
like,
HasCon, and so they spoiled some really cool things, and then kind of leaked a little bit, like on Monday, Tuesday, and then nothing.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday. We're like, what's going on?
What else are we gonna talk about? I was like, oh, we're gonna get more specs on tomorrow and Thursday.
Spoilers,
0. Specs, spoilers, and we got 0. But there's actually enough stuff that they leaked with not only just with Ravnica, but dealing with Ravnica. That's pretty sweet.
In general, new products that are coming out as well. So we'll talk about that.
So let's jump
spoilers.
right into it. Should we talk about the new mechanics? Or what do you want to do?
Let's just start with it, and then when we hit a mechanic, I think we talk about it.
But we have 5 mechanics.
5 new mechanics.
But not necessarily new, because
Correct.
that's right. Whatever. But 5 mechanics that we're kind of dealing with in this. But why don't we start off with the very first Planeswalker? Do you want me to read it because it's small?
Yeah,
or?
I can't actually read any of this until you enlarge it a little bit.
All right, so we have Ral. We have a new Ral Planeswalker.
He's a Viceroy.
And he is 3 blue and a red. Comes in with 5 loyalty. His +1 is look at the top. Oh, man, and it's even small for me, too. This sucks. Come on, get bigger. Get bigger. That's what she said. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Your -3 is it deals damage to target creature equal to the total number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. And then your -8, which should win you the game, is when you get the emblem whenever you cast an instant or sorcery. The emblem deals 4 damage to any target, and you draw 2 cards. That's pretty ridiculous. As long as you're doing it at like instant sorcery kind of deck, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense to have this in your deck.
No, probably not.
But yeah, it's pretty badass. I don't know what else to say to that. I mean,
I think it's going to be a solid card.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I like the other Ral better. I think.
I like the uniqueness of like the coin flipping and extra turns.
Exactly.
Because everybody loves extra turns. So, Commander game lasts a half hour more after you've taken 5 turns. That's what I wanted. Okay, next card. Seems pretty cool. Underrealm Lich. It's 3 colorless, a black and a green. It's a 4/3 zombie elf shaman. If you would draw a card, instead look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put 1 into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. And you can pay 4 life, and Underrealm Lich gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it.
I heard, I forget which cast was talking about it. It might have been, God, who was it? No, I think it was Goldfish that they were talking about that this is Wizards' way of doing regeneration because they don't have regeneration anymore.
That's what they have been doing. Yeah, indestructible is
indestructible, and then you tap it, which is kind of.
So I mean, like
that's
I
what
guess
regeneration
that's a pretty good question to look at. Is would you rather be paying like a green and a colorless to like regenerate a creature, or would you rather pay like 4 life and tap it? Because tapping it would be the regenerate part as well.
Man, I don't know. In Commander, I guess it's a little easier. The 4 life is kind of hefty, but I guess I'd rather have the mana sitting up. Maybe? I don't know. That's kind of a tough one to figure out.
They probably did a really good job of balancing this with paying 4 life versus roughly 2 mana. Because
that's normally what it was, 1 to 2. But for 4 life, I'd say it's probably 2.
And so, in general, this one's a mythic. I think this card's really powerful. Just saying, like, whenever you draw a card, let's say you have like Phyrexian Arena out and you're drawing 2 cards per turn, you get to look at the top 6 cards, put 2 of them into your hand, and obviously you're going to be playing some type of graveyard shenanigans in there as
if you're not, then
this card seems really powerful.
Yeah, it's very good. This probably, and that's why I'm excited to see more of the cards here.
I wish it was a 3/4 versus a 4/3, just because like there's a lot of things that do just like
3 damage,
random
lightning
damage.
bolt, and everything like that. Yeah.
But 4
Inferno
damage
Titan
seems to survive.
yeah, no, that's a good point.
And so I don't really want to be paying that 4 life consistently to just keep it alive. And it'd be nice to have like a 3/4 because it's not really a chump blocker at that point. It goes a little bit beyond it. So I still think it's a really good card, and I think this can go in a lot of different decks.
This goes in a Lowry type deck because it's dealing with your graveyard.
Yeah, this would be sweet in Muldrotha, Marin
definitely.
Clan. It seems just like it can go in a lot of different decks, and it can stick around if you so choose with the 4 life.
Yeah. Then our next card is one that Lowry spec'd on. I'm just kidding.
Did I? Yeah,
No.
I did. I mean, I haven't talked about it in this. Or maybe I did.
No, we didn't talk
No.
about Didn't you spec on it? Like, did you spec on it in the
years ago.
podcast? Or no, you're saying
I don't remember at this point. But Narcomoeba. The great and awesome Narcomoeba. Well, okay. So it's do you want me to talk about this
go
one since
ahead.
I spec'd on it? All right. It's a colorless and a blue for a 1/1 flyer. When it's put into your graveyard from your library, you may put it onto the battlefield. Now, if I didn't spec on it, I did it for a reason of dredge.
Yep.
Bridge from below, it
Yeah,
goes
I
in
think
bridge
that's when
from
you
below
did
decks.
spec. I think that's when you had it with the bridge from below
So,
stuff. Yeah.
Um,
Which I don't think was a bad spec, and this is different art with it too. I actually might like this art. It's different.
Yeah, it's different. I'm trying to think of what was my friend Nick was just like, Future Sight was a preprint, and then when it was reprinted in the master set, that was a reprint, and so this is the first printing of it.
That is kind of funny.
And so, but I think it's at rare. The other 2 printings were at uncommon. I think it's going to be perfectly fine. It probably ruins any like short-term specking on it at this point.
Yeah, but you still had if we did.
I think foils are probably fine.
Yeah, foils were still pretty good. And even with this, it's a pretty decent card because it's used in Modern, right? I mean, that's kind of what you brought it up.
It could be.
Yeah,
it could be.
Yeah. So okay. So next card. This one actually
Seems
could
really cool.
go in, and I was thinking about this one going in my Brutaclaw deck as well because there's a card that's just like it in that had the flashback, but it's quasi duplicate, and that's one. I said it right. Quasi duplicate. I said quad. Like your quads.
Gotta work out those quads.
Quasi.
Like quasi
Quasi duplicate. It's 1 and 2 blue sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, and then here comes our jumpstart mechanic,
Which is the first one, that we'll talk
very
about,
first one that we were talking about. So what jumpstart is you may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying its other cost, and then exile this card. I think this is a badass card. The other one is the flashback one that costs 7 that I have in the Brutaclaw deck.
Cackling Counterpart.
Yeah, so that's just like this card. I personally like this one better than
I completely agree with you. I think quasi duplicate is
quadzi.
No, don't make me screw it up.
It's a quad's eye. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
No, just keep on stretching. It's fine. Dig that hole. I think this card can be really, Cackling Counterpart's a pretty powerful card with the flashback. This is a cheaper flashback.
Yeah. I mean, if you had 6 mana sitting open, that turn you're going boom boom. You have 2 tokens.
When we saw this card, I instantly thought this would be perfect for Brutaclaw.
Oh, did
So,
you?
I was just like, this is perfect in that deck.
Yeah, that's what I saw. The next one we get to is for my freaking Brutaclaw deck too. So the next 2 cards are Brutaclaw deck cards.
So, Jumpstart as a mechanic, how do you feel about it for like Commander at this point?
I like it. I like the being able to discard and cast, especially since you're. The thing about flashback is it typically, not all the time, but typically it was a lot more. To come back, and so that kind of it still works in Commander because you have these long games. A lot of times what happens with me with that is I forget that the effing card is in the graveyard, and I get done with the game like, oh yeah, I could have cast this card and this card because it had flashback.
Mm-hmm.
So actually what I do with my graveyard, and is a good idea for others doing it, is turn that card sideways so you can always see that you have a card that can be cast.
Mm-hmm.
That also brings attention to other people looking at and seeing that you have a
What's
card.
that turn sideways in your graveyard?
Because it is kind of nice. Larry will do that sometimes where I forget that he has a flashback in his graveyard and then he brings it back. But turning it sideways helps you remember if you're a person that forgets. But I definitely like this.
So they're compensating for the it's the same mana cost when you're casting it, but instead of having more mana go into it, it's a card. I think it can be really powerful in Commander. I agree. sometimes you just have dead cards in your hand, and that allows you to use them a little bit more. Just with the discarding, or you can even use it where you're discarding flashback cards or madness cards. I think there's a bunch of different applications with it within.
Yeah, we'll see how many other Jumpstart what works with it, because
I think it has to be a good
very,
card for
very good
Jumpstart.
idea if we can get some combos that could be in the future a spec thing that you go after. We were kind of looking at those before we did the cast, but there really hasn't been enough spoiled yet of Jumpstart for us to really get
actually like solid.
Going to be a legit thing to do. Next one though.
I'd say you have this one as well, since you want to do that.
So this is one I talked about before, was Legion War Boss. It's 2 and red. It is a Goblin Soldier. This one has Mentor, so when this creature attacks, put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature with the least power. So this isn't a new ability. This is just a repeating one, but this is throughout this.
No, this is a new ability.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
What was the one? Oh, no, what's the...
Support?
Not support. What's that commander that has... Is it not Dethrone? Is that... What's the one when it's attacking? You get to put a 1/1 counter on the...
That's Dethrone.
Okay. Isn't that what... That's
not,
kind
no,
of...
This is... No, yeah, different. Cause,
that's where I was thinking of that. That was
Marchesa gives all your creatures Dethrone, and then whenever they're attacking the player with the highest mana, or the highest life, they all get 1/1 counters on it. And so this is whenever Legion War Boss attacks, you put a 1/1 counter on the smallest creature you have.
See,
so a bit different.
Thought that it was a mechanic that had already been there. Now I'm having to...
You're looking it through? I was thinking it was more like it's pretty similar to the cons of Tarkir block from the green-white section. Why am I blanking on it? I should have actually done some work.
No, it must be... Yeah, it has to be Dethrone that I'm thinking of then. So that is... It's every creature?
No. Just one.
For Dethrone.
No, Dethrone just for Marchesa. That gives all of your creatures Dethrone, but certain creatures, if they have Dethrone, then they just get that 1/1 counter. It's not giving it to another one.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's where I was getting confused, because I was thinking, oh yeah, there it is, 1/1 counter it. Tied or the most. Oh, it's the most. Okay, so it's the opposite going with this, right?
Well, no. Because Dethrone is the player with the highest
life. Yeah. This is going to be...
So it's kind of similar to a bunch of different things. They're just kind of playing around with it.
Gotcha.
You want to stall a little bit longer? I'm looking for...
Yeah. Anyways, I can talk about this card really quick. So anyways, that's not the part where I'm excited about this. It's what the creating... At the beginning of your combat, you, on your turn, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. That token gains haste until end of turn and attacks this combat if able. So... The interesting thing that as I'm reading it, if the goblin survives that combat, it doesn't need to attack the next combat. That token gains haste until end of turn and attacks this combat if able.
Yeah.
So it's creating a token, you're attacking with it if you can, and if it survives that, you don't have to attack with it the next turn.
That's pretty cool. I like that compared to like Goblin Offensive. The enchantment and then
the Rabble Master.
Yeah, Rabble
Master. Because it makes you attack with goblin. All other goblins need to attack for Rabble Master. So what was that? Did you figure out?
So I was thinking it was Bolster. It's very similar to Bolster.
What does Bolster do again?
Bolster is choose a creature with the least toughness among creatures you control and put like a 1/1.
But that's when it comes into play, right? It has nothing to do with attacking.
Well, like Dromoka the Eternal that I'm looking at right now is whenever a dragon you control attacks. Okay. Bolster. Some of them are when this creature comes into play. Some of them are whenever another creature comes into play. So Bolster is kind of similar, but Mentor deals with power. Bolster deals with toughness.
Well, actually, so I'm kind of reading this over really quick. Since it is a new mechanic, it says whenever this creature attacks, put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature with lesser power. So it doesn't have to be the least amount of power. So if you have another creature that's, let's say just for shits and giggles, Legion War Boss is a 5/5, and you're attacking with a 1/1, a 1/1, and a 4/4. You can put it on the 4/4 instead.
You are right. Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting, where you actually get to choose because.
Yeah. When that would be the other thing. Bolster is the least toughness.
So you have to put it on that one. So the fact that it's a choice, I really do dig that ability.
Can you dig it?
We get into our first kind of commander. Yeah, no, second, because you already talked about the other one. So why don't we talk about our next one?
So it's a reincarnate of a card.
Yeah.
Stony Brook Schoolmaster.
You think it's? Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking Emra because Emra or Amara, but this is the second time making her.
Okay, yeah.
I thought that's what you meant by that.
Amara, Soul of the Accord, is a green-white legendary creature, elf cleric. It's a 2/2. Whenever Amara of the Accord becomes tapped, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. So the reason why I compared it to Stony Brook Schoolmaster is that's a common from Morningtide, which is 2 colorless and a white for a 1/2. Whenever it becomes tapped, put a 1/1 blue merfolk into play.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, this is rare. I mean, it's one less. But it's very similar in my mind. So I'm not like super thrilled about this. But 2 mana for a commander is not anything to snuff at.
Well, and they're making freaking Mox Amber more usable because it's a 2-drop for, and Mox Amber is going to be in standard here with that. So the more legendary creatures that have lower casting costs is going to make that card
makes Mox
better and
Amber
better.
a bit better from Dominaria. Yeah, that's a really good point.
You want to do 2 at a time?
Creating the token is meh in my mind.
It's nice it has lifelink. At least it has a skill, an ability with it.
So it's a lot of times that gains you 1 life.
Yeah. A lot of times when they create tokens, they don't give you that. They normally just 1/1 soldiers or 1/1.
I almost thought about putting this into my Estra deck because of Glera Subdual and Opposition, where I can tap it without attacking. And that allows me to get another token that would tap and tap down another creature. So it could maybe build off a little bit on that.
Well, and you're a true intruder alarm because you're playing that color. You can get infinite 1/1 creatures with that.
Yeah, I did cut intruder alarm, but you could do that.
Don't put it back in now. Will that be too much? Like you're counting on this card and intruder alarm. You had a couple cards that made your intruder alarm go crazy. Yeah. Next one is Firemind's Research. This has Mr. Izzet in the dragon Niv Mizzet. Is it?
Is it Niv
Mizzet? But it's an enchantment. It's blue-red, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a charge counter on Firemind's Research. You can tap a blue and a colorless, remove 2 charge counters to draw a card, or you tap a red and a colorless, remove 5 and deal 5 damage to any target. So that seems like a lot.
I was going to say, this feels not very good.
No, that's a lot to do. I mean, the drawing is interesting. I like that better, but the 5 is just removing 5. You got to cast 5 freaking spells first, or instants or sorceries,
and then you need to pay 2 to
do 5 damage.
Like I was trying to think of like why would this be playable? When would it be playable? Like I was just like, it's free with. I think the card is 5 Alarm Fire, which is from the past Ravnica sets. But it's whenever a creature you control deals combat damage, put tokens on that enchantment. And then if you remove 5 counters from it for free, you get to deal 5 damage to a creature or player. And I don't play that. Yeah. And that's much easier than casting spells, having it build up and do nothing. Yeah. You can. I was just like, if it was free, if you could just, if it was like, just remove 3 counters to draw a card for free, and then remove 1 to deal a damage to a creature.
Now, question with this that you would have better idea with is, because I don't play Storm as much, would Storm work with that? Because is it making copies, but you're not casting? Are those counted as casting?
No, yeah.
So that wouldn't
work. They're not casting. They are so you're only spells getting your on a stack, 1, but it's not casting.
But your infinite whatever would not work.
Sure.
So
yeah, I don't think it's very good for Commander. I think it's a lot of work to do potentially nothing.
I agree.
Like I like incremental advantage, and this is just like not enough incremental advantage. So I think I would use it more for the draw if I was going to use it for anything, but I don't even think I'd have it in a deck. So yeah, I mean, pass. Yeah. All right. Why don't we get into the things we are really excited about? Okay. We don't really need to talk about what they do. I think we just run through them really quick. The Shocklands are being reprinted. Woohoo! Yeah, the art looks really fantastic on these. Art. You have Overgrown Tomb, Sacred Foundry, Steam Vents, Temple Garden, and Watery Grave, which are aligned with the guilds that are
guilds
going to
that
be worked on this set.
And
So-
then lesser as important as the guild gates are also reprinted.
No, I'm.
Right.
They needed a reprint,
Really?
even though they've
'cause
been
it
reprinted in
would've been so
every
many-
Commander product that they've done
They're so
since that.
shitty. They're so shitty. I actually started getting rid of
Totally
all those.
relevant.
It's like I don't use these ever. Any lands that just come into play tapped and don't give
But
you
they're a
any
gate.
benefit. Yeah.
They're a gate.
How many gate things have you ever put in a deck where it was like
None.
depend on your
Not a single one.
If you're trying to keep your deck under $1, use all the gates.
You could.
because
That's
they're like a
perfectly
penny.
Adam will give you his. Yeah, they'll be free.
I'm getting rid of mine. So yeah, I've been trading them away to Puka, like hundreds of them for 10 cents. That's 10
Sweet.
cents for 100.
So
Anyways.
you lied when you said it was under a penny.
No, I was
It's
over
10
exaggerating.
cents. Yeah.
Shut up, Lowry. All right, so one of our next cards, I actually think is pretty damn good, is Conclave Tribunal. This is 3 in white. It's an enchantment. The cool thing about this is your Oblivion Ring, but you can convoke to play it. So whenever it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent opponent controls until this leaves the battlefield. But you can convoke it, so potentially you can tap 3 of your creatures down, and it costs you 1 to come into play. What are you reading? You look like you're reading something there.
Well, you can tap down 4. And have
4,
it be
yeah.
technically
If it's a
free.
white creature,
So,
get
yeah.
rid of that 4 and make it free.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a solid card in Standard. I think
Yeah.
replacing Cast Out
Would you replace this for Oblivion Ring?
in a Commander deck.
Yeah.
Uh,
I guess if you're heavy creature, I would maybe go that route.
maybe. I don't really put
I don't put it-
Oblivion Ring.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
I'd
use-
rather have like Grasp of Fate
Where
or
you're removing enchantments or artifacts from each person.
Yeah.
I
So I'm not a huge fan of that. If you're in mono white, maybe you don't have enough removal.
I like it though. I would.
I think it's a cool concept and I like it, but it's not something that I would necessarily play.
I probably. Nah, I'm going back and forth. I'm like, I would play it over Oblivion Ring, but it all depends on your deck. If you're playing a token deck, then it fits your deck because you're going with the convoke stuff. If you're not, if you're playing more bigger creatures, I don't know if it necessarily works.
So, well, like something like this could work in my
Yeah.
Estrid deck. Like I have a bunch of creatures that I could tap because
Yeah.
I don't want to block with them, and this could get me ahead. It's an enchantment that would help me out. I still don't want to play this. That like.
So
I'm
we're
looking
more
for
just
the
telling
advantage.
you
I'm
about
just saying
the
you
convoke
could.
that they are using in this, which we
I
already
think again, it's going to be fine in Standard.
talked about the convoke from the last episode with the big 16/16, but that's
Yeah.
one of the mechanics, and
gonna
this
be
is not the new one.
This is a good point. So Convoke goes with the Green-White Guild, which is Selesnya. Jumpstart goes with Izzet, which is Red-Blue.
Yep.
And then what's the other one we talked about? Mentor goes with
Grave
Red-White.
Graveborn. We haven't gotten
We
to the
haven't-
Grave
no, we
one yet.
haven't.
Okay, so
Mentor is Red-White, which is Red-White. Forgot that one.
is that Boros?
Boros, yeah. So that's one. Moving on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Murmuring Mystic.
And just to let you know, this card is actually blurry on the screen, so it's not your eyes.
got
here.
It's 3 colorless and a blue for a 1/5 human wizard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 blue bird illusion creature token with flying. Now, this is much better than that red-blue enchantment that,
Yeah.
putting the counters on there. And you just cast an instant or sorcery, you get a 1/1 blue bird.
Yep.
I like this a lot.
It's like the Drake one, the one that makes Drakes.
Yeah, Tyrant. I would play this in that deck.
Yep.
This goes in spell slinging decks in Commander in my mind.
Yep.
So it's totally playable.
Definitely. And then are we getting into this one? Or we want
I
to
believe so.
All right. So the next one is Sinister Sabotage. This is 1 and 2 blue. It's your counterspell for this, and it's actually pretty decent. I mean, counterspells aren't the 2 blue anymore, like the original counterspell. But what they tend to do is give you, if they're good ones or decent ones, they give you a bonus. And so we have our first new mechanic, or another new
For
mechanic.
Dimir.
And this is Surveil 1, which is look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard. So you can either put it back. It's like Scry, except for going on the bottom of your library, you put it in your graveyard. So you can kind of work out decks that more deal with your graveyard and pulling stuff from your graveyard. So if you're like Lowry and you pull stuff from your graveyard,
I love this.
This is perfect for that.
I love this. I hope there's enough good cards. I probably would try and avoid using this since it's counterspell, but like this incremental putting cards into your graveyard seems really cool.
I hope it kind of becomes an everyday mechanic like
Evergreen?
Scry. Yeah.
I'm not sure if it is going to, because I think they
are specifically trying to
make something different than Scry.
Yeah.
So I really like it though. I think this is totally playable as a mechanic if there's enough good cards in Commander. And then one of, Surveil kind of goes with one of my Smith specs at the end here. So
yeah, you kind of picked a couple of them that went with it. So,
yeah.
All right. And the next one, this one's pretty decent too, actually.
So Necrotic Wound is an instant, 1 black, new mechanic name, Undergrowth. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. That creature would die. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. So Undergrowth is the amount of creatures you have in your graveyard equals some ability from the card.
Working with Surveil, you can put stuff in your graveyard and all that. And kill creatures. That's the nice thing is an instant too.
Interesting that if it kills it, or if that creature would die that turn, exile it instead. That seems really cool. So like, you can attack into a bigger creature and they go, well, I'll chump that one. And you're like, well, I shrunk it down to whereas it would die in combat, and then it's actually exiled.
Yeah. So or you can even take out your indestructibles, because I love the -X/-X stuff, and then it's removed from the game. And then because it doesn't go to the graveyard, if there's anything that has a graveyard effect, then it'd get exiled.
Yeah, dying clauses don't count.
Yeah.
It'd be it seems like a really cool card.
And then we get into, we want these guys, right?
We could probably skip Thought Erasure.
Anyways, that one just is...
Let's do the split card.
So we have our first split card. This doesn't have a fuse, so you can't cast them both.
I did really like fuse.
I did too. So I thought it did, and I was like, oh yeah, fuse. Oh no, they don't have fuse. So you have to choose one or the other. But it has your hybrid mana for one side, which is what? Status? Status. I'm trying to read
Black
it sideways.
and green.
Black and green. Target creature gets 1/1 death touch until end of turn, or you can tap 2, a black and a green.
Are you stealing my card?
What? Oh, you're
just because the split card doesn't mean
it's the same card. Nice. No, you're turning your head to read it.
Statue is the other half of the card. It's an instant, 2 colorless, black and a green, and then it destroys target artifact, creature, or enchantment.
Which is pretty nice. I like that.
Yeah.
You have the choice between all three there. But then you also, what's kind of been getting the hype is the
stasis part.
The stasis. Isn't it status?
It is status. You're right. It's sideways.
Yeah, it's sideways.
You're reading it sideways and upside down.
The goblin chain whirler casting him, and while he's on the stack before he hits play.
No. When
he hits play before the 1 damage goes to everything, you give it death touch, and then it kills all of your opponent's creatures. That's more of a standard thing. I think I
think a lot of people are excited about it.
Really
I don't think it's going to be practical.
Yeah.
So
it's not going to affect Commander so much, but that's why people are kind of going nuts for this card right now.
Just showing you that split cards are going to be a thing again, which is interesting because they just did it in Amonkhet. So they,
And then there was one last one. Did you want to talk about Sonic Assault?
No, we got the jump start.
Okay, so we got our jump starts. Pretty much, there's a couple uncommons and commons that they revealed that were later in the week, and it was just
we're kind of like meh.
Very underwhelming because we got all the good stuff over the weekend, and then we're like, all right, more spoilers, and it was like shitty common cards. Damn it! And then the Guild Gates came out yesterday. Actually, wait, those did get spoiled yesterday. Guild Gates.
No one cares.
Yeah, I know. It's like they didn't spoil anything.
But yeah, pretty much. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about right now. I think the interesting thing is I think we've grown up in our podcasting a little bit. Like before we would talk about like all the cards that we could talk about. Now we're just kind of being a little bit more selective, which is probably better for you guys.
Yeah, so you're not just hearing card after card after card after card. But there is some new stuff that they did reveal with this, which I think is freaking sweet, which is the Planeswalker Masterpiece stuff.
Okay.
You don't think it's that sweet?
I just wouldn't call it masterpiece.
Well, that's what it's.
I know they're calling it Planeswalker Masterpiece, but go on. Sorry.
What would you call it?
Planeswalker promos, full art promos.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call them masterpieces
because there's taking the place of the masterpiece. What they used to have as the masterpiece. They didn't want to get rid of that crap, but it didn't.
They just ran out of ideas.
Yeah,
like I said, they blew their load on the first
they did.
two.
So they still have the masterpiece idea, I think, and they've had it in the works. I'm guessing, and so this is their way of.
Okay, well, so Planeswalker Masterpiece is part of Guilds of Ravnica Mythic Edition, which is 16 boosters plus 8 masterpieces, a complete set, MSRP of $249.99, available directly from HasbroToyShop.com.
You have to get it from
on
them.
October 3rd.
If you go to their site right now, which I have,
yeah.
There's no Magic the Gathering on there. You can't. I tried to find it, to be like, okay, they must have something that you got to sign up, because I actually like this because it's the full art stuff that we like to do with our proxies.
They look really awesome.
So you have 6 reprints and then 2
the
new
cards.
Rail
is it Viceroy, and then they haven't shown the picture of it, but there's going to be a new Vraska Planeswalker
because you've seen her on all the
packaging. And stuff like
so
that.
She's going to be there. But the fact that they have already Teferi back here, and Teferi is up to about $50, just the regular. So this, I almost think this is worth getting. I don't know personally if you do. Because you are getting 16 booster packs plus 18 masterpiece.
No, 8.
Or,
8
sorry, I meant to say 8,
masterpieces.
not 18.
And that's why I wouldn't call them masterpieces, though. Like,
but it's doing what
you can't go and you can't randomly get them in a pack. You have to buy them. As a complete set. And then they're just kind of like looping it in with 16 packs. And then you have to go to HasCon or HasbroToyShop.com. Not plugging it. You have to go.
I have a very, very good feeling that these are going to be really hard to get.
I think, I totally agree. If you can get them, it's probably, I think it'd be a pretty good spec to get.
Yep.
These 8 planeswalkers aren't bad.
We might as well just say which ones. So we have Elspeth, Knight of Errant.
Knight Errant.
Knight Errant. Sorry, Knight of. I gave that dash and of.
It's a word in your mind.
There's my dyslexia right there. I gave a dash and of.
Liliana, the Last Hope.
And then you have Duretti. What's the next?
Iconoclast.
Iconoclast. Which I don't even think I have him. What is
I don't
he
either.
from?
He's from Conspiracy 2.
Oh, that's why I don't have him, because we didn't really get into that one. Then
Nicol Bolas Planeswalker,
and then you have Raoul from the.
Is it Viceroy?
We have a different art. I like this art much better than the art that the original art they have
packs,
here. Yeah.
Teferi, Art of Dominaria.
Love that art too.
And then Tezzeret, Agent of Bolas, and then Unknown Vraska Planeswalker,
which will probably be the new. But they're doing the same thing that they did with the masterpieces. Is you have some reprints, and then you have a couple things from the new, but they dumbed it down to 8 cards, this is how they should have done it from the beginning.
They should have only had 8. I totally agree.
Should have been 8 cards.
But when
because we'd still be doing masterpiece from like freaking Amonkhet or whatever.
They got really excited with the idea, and then
they're like, "Oh my god, let's print them all!" But yeah, if they would have dumbed it down to just these cards and then put these these 8 cards and potentially had them in packs, these would be
a lot better. Yeah, I think they should be in packs. I think they should be kind of lucky and available for them all. This feels like a cash grab, but they do look gorgeous. And so from like a $250 perspective, they're probably not a bad buy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I was saying with Teferi, just in himself is $50.
I mean, a standard card. I think it'll switch down. I don't think it's going to be a $50 card when it rotates.
But if it becomes one of the Planeswalker staples, it won't go down like your Liliana.
It has to. Yeah. If at 50, I don't think it's going to stay at 50. It'll be around 30. I'll give you 30.
Don't give me 30. I don't want 30. I want 50.
You want 50? Yeah. All right.
Well, I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of. It's not what we play though, so we don't play Modern, so it doesn't matter to us necessarily. We don't play it as much, but people are talking about that it's the replacement for Jace, and they're seeing a lot more of this in replace of Jace spots.
If you start talking about Teferi taking over for Jason Legacy, then I'll stand up and pay attention. But they're not. They're talking about
erection
and pay attention with an erection. So I just don't. I can see it being like a Liliana The Last Hope price, somewhere 30, 35. I can totally see that. The others
so
are.
let's just say they're. Well, and you got the full art stuff. Are they going to be foil? I don't think they are they?
I don't know that.
If they were masterpieces, you would think they'd be foil, but they don't say anywhere that it's foil. But let's just say for shits and giggles, it's $30 a piece. So you're 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 200 and that's 250 for all 8. If you get them at $30 a piece, just for the Planeswalkers, plus you get 16 packs with it.
16 packs, yeah.
So I don't know. I'm kind of leaning that I want to get these. But the thing is how easy are they going to come by? Because right now you go to Hasbro, there isn't even a freaking Magic section there, so I don't even know how you would pull that off.
I think you're going to look at it, and you're probably going to. I can see them being at the level of like the Black Planeswalkers from San Diego Comic-Cons in the past. I think these are going to be pretty rare.
Yeah. You know what this might actually be is with Toys R Us going down and everything like that. This is Hasbro trying to test to see what the Magic market is and how much of a demand their site gets at October 3rd, and everybody clicking over there to see if they can get these boxes. I don't know. I just threw that out there, just randomly thought of it right now.
Is there a correlation between Toys R Us?
I don't know. They lost a lot of their Toys R Us. Like not
Hasbro. Seeing if they can get people to go
seeing
look at their
what
site.
Magic is actually doing for their brand, because Magic, since Dominaria, they've been doing really. I mean, this year in itself has been really well for Magic the Gathering. So maybe this is a way for them to test to see actually, because why are they selling it on Hasbro Toy Shop? Like they don't even have. You can't even find Magic. You go on there. Actually, I lied. They have Amonkhet booster box, and then they have an Amonkhet fat pack or whatever they call it now. They don't call them fat packs anymore, but they call them starter box or whatever it is. Those are the only 2 products you can get on that site. Other than that, they don't have any Magic on there. So why in the hell are they having you go to Hasbro Toy Shop?
I can see where they're like, hey, we actually have a website if you want to come and check it out. I can see them trying to do that.
And especially with them trying to do all this for your local game store buy a box promos, why are they not doing that with this? They're not giving the benefit to, like, they're all about the game.
The LGSs, yeah, the brick and mortars.
And so why are they taking this product away from that and selling it themselves on Hasbro? I don't know. It's just, I'm like talking out loud because we did not discuss this beforehand, and I'm just like thinking about it as we're looking at the cards. So don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, I can totally see that this being a ploy. I can see it being a cash grab by Hasbro. I know they are looking to shop around Magic and try and sell them off to a different, bigger company. There's a lot of different factors, and so, but again, like you're saying, I think masterpieces in general were a success.
Mm-hmm.
They
did too much.
They did too much right off the bat and made it almost too hard.
Because think if they would have done it right, like if they would have done it like this with 8 cards, and we would still, like, seriously, we'd still be on Kaladesh block with their cards pretty much. Not necessarily. Well, no, because they're only printing 2 cards or 4 cards from each. No, they were doing 4 or 5 cards from each.
Dominaria would have been like Legends.
Yeah,
and you could have easily done Legends and a foil alternate art, really hard to get legend, would have been worth more than a lot of the legends out there. You do 8 of them, and then you add in 2 of the major ones from Dominaria. They could have done that.
They could have done an awesome job with that.
And we know that Ixalan, they were going to have the buy a box promos be their masterpieces,
and so
that would have totally worked as well.
Yeah.
So I think
the idea
is interesting is that they come up with a good idea and then they like burn it out or they quit too quick.
Yeah. Which I guess let's see what happens with these. Maybe this continues, but not necessarily that you get all 8. That is kind of weird that you get all 8. It's not their normal random find it in a pack type of thing. To guarantee that you get it, it's like a Commander product, that you're actually getting that.
You're just paying a lot.
A lot, 250.
250 is a lot in my mind to go out. Like I have all of those walkers.
No, we don't have Duretti, didn't we?
Well, actually, I don't have all of them. I don't have Liliana The Last Hope. I don't have Duretti. I don't have Teferi. And obviously I don't have Ral or the new Vraska.
Do you have Teferi?
No, I
Or you don't?
So, but I have 4 Tezzeret's, and
So I'm missing whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll miss half.
It's like, is it worth the buy if you have it? Like,
is it? Ral, is it?
Yikes. Yikes. So
I'm curious. I'm going to try and see. I really am going to try to buy them when it comes out to see how hard it is, because I think it's going to be very difficult to pull these off.
Agreed. I think they're not going to be ready for it on their site. It's probably just going to crash and be a big cluster.
Yeah, people are going to be pissed, and then the boxes.
And I'm
going
to sit there and laugh and be like, I'm glad I didn't try.
Well, I'm going to test it because I want to see. Like, I'm going to report on this. I'm going to be a reporter.
Adam Smith reporting on internet stuff.
This is Adam reporting for CommanderSmiths. Right now, the site has crashed. Oh no! Why did I have like a nerdy voice all of a sudden?
Because nerds are on the news.
Nerds are on the news?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways,
these people are nerds.
Let's move into the next part. They are releasing guild kits with this as well, which they haven't announced that they're doing Planeswalker decks. I kind of have a feeling that maybe this is it, or maybe they will do Planeswalker decks with it. But they're releasing guild kits that have all cards from the previous Ravnica sets. So it's all reprints.
And it's going to be a bunch of different 60 card pre-constructeds. You have a bunch of solid reprints for it being a something put together by Wizards. It actually looks decent. Some of the reprinted cards, and then
you'll get some of the legendaries with the new border of the legendary
Deathlight
stuff.
Shaman reprint. Boros Reckoner is an awesome card.
Yeah,
you have Nimizet the Firemind, which is awesome. Glare of Subdual, which locks down Adam's deck. Aurelia the War Leader. I think it just depends. I don't know how many. Does it say
that
how many?
Glare thing sucked ass playing against you with that.
It was awesome. How many of the decks are they making?
It doesn't say. 60 card pre-constructed decks from every Ravnica set released.
The reprints won't be standard legal. It will be released November 2nd. MSRP
so this is coming out a month
$20.
after.
Yeah, so that's why I don't think it's going to be
it's not the
replacement for the Planeswalker. I think we'll probably still
just
get
kind of go with
stuff.
it because they're going to be in the Ravnica block. So your next one's going to be Ravnica. So
yeah, we have 3, 6. This will be 7 sets of Ravnica at this point.
That's crazy.
The return to Ravnica.
One of the cool things that is in this is the new basic land art. They have where your text box is. They have the pretty sweet looking art with the land.
Yeah, etchings.
I still like full art better, but the foils of these, which you won't be able to get in that necessarily, but when you get to what are they doing? The pre-release, and I'm guessing the release one, they're giving out these as your promo cards, foil ones,
and they would be really awesome foiled.
Yeah. Those are going to be pretty freaking sweet. So I don't know, but I tend to lean towards the full art, so I don't know if I'll get them or not. Maybe if I'll not trade for them, but buy them, trade for them later when they go down, potentially, hopefully. But if they're that cool, they probably won't go down. So
probably not. I wouldn't. It'll be tough to tell because it doesn't seem like they're going to be putting these special lands into the actual set of when you're cracking a box or whatever. But this seems to be like a really nice way of adding a little bit of just like random value into a box. Like they don't know how much these like lands are going to go for or anything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt any of the other cards. Nobody's going to be like, you're hurting my other Ravnica basics value. Like there's just kind of something cool, something nice for players and collectors alike. And I think it's really kind of cool that what they're doing with the basic lands and just the reprint of the old Ravnica cards. There's a lot of great cards in there.
Yeah.
So
if you don't have them, that might be worth getting.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're a newer player and you weren't around for the first Ravnica, there's probably a lot of really cool cards that are going into it.
And it looks like actually when I was examining these, those look like the guilds of each one that we're going to be talking about. Like it has their symbols in it, Mm-hmm. So like that's the fist for
Boros.
Yeah, so the fist of Boros. That's a pretty big fist.
Yeah.
Open up. All right. And then there's a couple promo cards that we already talked about that they're going to be full art
Research,
or whatever.
So
or different
Conclave
art.
Tribunal,
Sinister Sabotage,
Necrotic Wound, Boros Challenger, and Thought Erasure.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for our spoiler stuff. There was a lot of stuff. There wasn't a ton of spoilers, but there's a bunch. It didn't get me
really excited.
Not yet.
At this point. I
am very happy about the Shocklands, though.
Yeah, I'm happy that they're getting reprinted. I hope, and the art does really look cool. I'm gonna try and get some foil.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
I would go after the foils at this point.
Yeah, and actually regulars, if you don't have Shocklands, make sure you get every one of them here, because this is gonna be the cheapest. They're gonna be probably a couple months after this comes out, maybe 4 months, 5 months afterwards. Maybe if they get down to $5, pick up a bunch of them.
Yeah,
because they're gonna go up. And like I stated before, I was kind of looking back at some of my specs to see where they're at, to see if they're ready to sell. The Battle Bond lands are now creeping up to $10. So I bought them all for $4 a piece. If you haven't gotten those, that's the same thing. They're good lands, and I think especially when they get a full set of those are going to keep going up as well. Mm-hmm. Shocklands are your next best thing besides the actual dual lands. I think I go dual lands, and then Shocklands are my next ones I always go after. Yep. Because I
would agree.
The 2 life in Commander is pretty easy to come by. Mm-hmm. And even in Modern, you can use it. The 2 life isn't that bad, you know?
Well, Modern, yeah. Shocklands are the premier fetchable lands in Modern. So they're played in Modern. They're very playable in Commander. So I would definitely, if you don't have them, go get them.
Yeah.
Again, it's something that you want to go and get. Fetchable lands are really important.
So, all right, let's move into our
Smith Picks of the Week. Why you laugh?
I got to figure out a freaking way to do Smith Specs of the Week.
I think you just record what I do and I don't have to say it or lay it over what I do.
And then turn that even faster.
No. I am fine with it. My voice is amazing.
It's the voice of an angel, Lowry. All right, so my first pick is actually because when I was building Brutaclad, and I had mentioned this, I actually did not own a Kiki-Jiki copy, and so I went out and bought a Kiki-Jiki. Well, when I was looking for Kiki-Jiki, I like saying that name, so that's why I keep Kiki-Jiki. When I was looking to buy a copy of it, I noticed that the regular copies, all of them are around $8. $7-8 actually. They're about $8-9 or whatever. And so then I was like, well, freaking hey, what are the foils at? Well, foils of Iconic Masters, I was able to pick mine up for $9. So just $1 more and you get a foil one. Right now on Goldfish it says they're over 10, but I was finding them easily for $9. This card, I totally think you should pick up because each printing before Iconic Masters had hit $30 at one point for the foil printings, and they kind of go in peaks and valleys. Like they spike up, and then they're up there for a few months, and then they gradually drop down to the 20s, and then the teens, and then you get down to the lower teens, and then all of a sudden somebody makes a deck and they freaking shoot back up again.
And I've been seeing this being played more and more in modern decks. People are playing around with it because it goes infinite with Feldar Guardian and a bunch of other things. Like this, I love this card in Commander.
And that's the other part. Commander, it's in 10,000 EDH rec decks. So that's rec decks. That just sounded weird.
Works.
I just had to repeat it because I'm like rec decks.
EDH rec decks.
Rec decks.
So it rec decks.
It's like Black Sheep where they're doing this is the second Black Sheep.
This is the second Roaz joke we're doing.
But it's totally we were just rec decks. Rec decks.
So
it doesn't even sound like a word
This card
anymore.
is really powerful. And again, multifaceted place. Very good in Commander because you got a ton of huge, powerful cards. And then you also... it was played in Splinter Twin decks, and then Splinter Twin got banned, but people are still playing around with this card because it does the same thing.
It looks like it's in one Legacy deck. If you look on, there's 3 Modern decks running it right now, but more so, I'm thinking, this is what you kind of look for.
$10 $9 for the foil Kiki-Jiki is a really good price.
This is what Lowry will do with his specs too, and we both do with our specs is when you see that there's not a big difference between the regulars and the foils, one of them's got that means either
one of them's off.
Yeah, and it isn't that the regulars have just spiked. The regulars are just sitting there $1 cheaper, and you can pick this up for $1 more, and it's foil. So that means that it needs to correct itself, and I think we're at one of the valleys right now, and this thing might peak. And
it can easily go up to $18.
Yeah. And this is still a really good card, like Lowry's saying, to have in your EDH deck. I've never owned one. I've wanted one. I was jealous of Lowry's. I was just admiring it.
It's fun to copy a Craterhoof Behemoth. So you cast it, copy Craterhoof, and just make everything super bonkers.
Boom.
If you weren't going to win,
you're
going to win.
You're definitely going to win. Even if you have like 4 creatures out there, just like boom, boom, boom.
It's sweet. And then you just Craterhoof every turn.
Yeah.
You'd be like, no, I'm not going to kill you. Just you take 100 damage. Next turn I'm coming after you.
Yeah. I'm going to get you to 1. All right, Lowry, your first pick.
So I went with Sidisi Brew Tyrant. Foil, regular, promo, they're all worth buying in my mind. I'm not going to say this is going to like shoot up like crazy or anything, but what it does is like whenever a creature you control goes from your library into your graveyard, you create a 2/2 black zombie.
So with the new mechanic
with Surveil,
you're looking at the top and you
can
it's a creature
to put that creature in,
and then you get a 2/2.
You get a 2/2. You get some extra value out of that, and it feels like this could be something that kind of like gets a boost, like Sidisi as a commander, because it should be getting a bunch of new tools with Surveil.
I definitely agree with that, because I think you're saying longer term, but this might go sooner rather than later, because this is working with that mechanic so well. So it depends on how many things they reveal,
it depends on how many things are going to be good enough to play. Like the counter spells, okay.
Yeah, they may have a few in this, and they may have more in the next Ravnica as well, because that might be a continuing.
I think this is going to be 3 sets. I think they're going back to 3 of Ravnica. So the next one's probably going to be the other 5, and then in the last one they'll jumble them all together.
Yeah.
Probably again. I don't have any problem with that. Whatever they're doing there. If
that's
they
a good
go
point.
That round.
They're going with the guild combos. So yeah, that probably won't be in the second one.
It won't be in the second one.
It
probably will be in the third one with a short amount.
So if there's enough good mechanics that work with that, this could really, and it has to be green, blue, and black for that to be able to work with this. So keep that in mind.
The nice thing about Sidisi is actually like Explorer works with it from Ixalan, because you can look at the top card. If it's a land, goes into your hand. If not, you can choose to put it on top of your library or in the graveyard.
That's a good point too.
That and actually goes really well with an enchantment. I don't want that. Just any creature that comes into play explores. So you can zombie. If a zombie comes into play, then you explore again, and then it makes it could potentially make another zombie, and you go as long as you have enough creatures. Yeah. That's pretty good in there too. I just think Sidisi is getting a lot of kind of new, cool little incremental tools. So that's my reasoning at this point.
Nice. I actually, when you said it, I was like, I think I might pick up some of these foils, because the foils are sitting. I bet you can pick these up around $5 right now. Yeah. It says 6, but I think you could probably pick them up for $5.
And the regulars are under $1.
Yeah. So and you could pick up the promo one for $5 as well. So, but actually, the promos are cheaper.
A little bit.
Oh, it's a pre-release promo. Okay. Yeah. My next one is actually a listener spec. We had an email a couple weeks ago from a listener, David, I think is what it was. And he actually mentioned this card, and it was kind of funny because he was like, hey, here's a spec that I really like, blah, blah, blah. And it's Glory. It's 3 and 2
if you
white.
Didn't get it through my song.
Yeah, his song is amazing. That should have been your song. But
this is your spec.
It's a 3/3 flying, but that's not the part of it. You want it to go into your graveyard, so it's 2 colors and a white. Creatures you control gain protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. Play this ability only if Glory is in your graveyard. Now, he mentioned it. It was kind of funny because we had just got done, a couple episodes when we talked about Lowry's cube that he did. Yeah. And Lowry was playing with it, and I remember him playing it against me, and I was like, I don't want that thing to die. And I'd never seen that card before. And so, it's from Judgment, so it's a while back.
It's an older card, yeah.
And so I was like, that's actually a freaking sweet card. If you can get that in your graveyard, you just make all your stuff pretty much unblockable or unkillable for the most part, except for board wipes. But when looking into this card, there's a very, very limited supply. I think, what did I say? There is limited supply. There's only 15 copies that are below $10. Right now, you can get a few of them for $5, but then it jumps dramatically up to 20. I think right now on eBay, I was looking, you could sell them for $10 a piece. So you could do a double up right now if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. But I think these could reach 20 pretty soon, actually, because there isn't much supply and it's very
So do you think
old.
only the foils? What do you think about the Hebrew foils?
Yeah.
The Hebrew foils look awesome.
They do, but you can't. I don't like getting the foreign. It's just my pet peeve. I don't like getting the foils of like foreign cards because I can't read them. You know, like
learn a new language.
I mean, I have one, the Scepter, the one with the extra turn that was just in.
A Magister Scepter?
Yeah, the M19 or whatever it was. Yep. So I have a foreign one of that, and I hate it. I have a English one and a foil or a foreign one.
I think you need to travel more. I can't believe.
No, I just don't.
You won't get frustrated at Burger King written in a different language.
Well, if it's in the colors of Burger King, then I know that it's Burger King.
Well,
I'm
then
fine.
you'll learn how to read Burger King.
Burger King. But the promo is $15 or $16, 15, 16 bucks. So you can pick these up for $5 right now, but like I said, they're not going to last very long at $5, and they quickly jump to 10, and then from 10 it's one card, and then it's $20. So
thank you, David.
Yeah, thanks, David.
That was great.
Because I think this one, is the right pick because there isn't a very big inventory, and even if you want to sell them right away, you make double up your money right there on eBay.
Yeah.
So, all right, Larry, your next pick.
Next, my second one that I'm going with is Buried Alive, which is 2 colorless and a black. Search your library for 3 creature cards and put them directly into your graveyard. Now, I think this is going to be decently powerful with Undergrowth, which is the new Golgari mechanic. And so if you get enough pieces that kind of work with it that are powerful enough, Buried Alive can be a really quick boost for Undergrowth.
And
Overgrowth. And so they're all cheap. They're under
like
$5.
Undergrowth or over? Now is it under or over?
Overgrowth. Because it's Undergrowth Lich. That's the new card, but I believe the mechanic is Overgrowth.
I guess we could have looked back.
Undergrowth.
Yeah, I was like, it makes sense as Undergrowth because it's like talking about graveyard and your creature's dead, so it's underground, Undergrowth.
All right. So Undergrowth.
I was like, I want to make sure we got that right because it sounds like, I think it's Undergrowth. Anyways, no, I think that's a really good.
And again, Buried Alive is just a really solid card for graveyard decks. Recursion decks. So you want to be having some of these in your collection anyway, but
you can pick up the foil Graveborn ones for $4 right now, which the regulars are $4, $4. So
yeah. And Odyssey foils are sitting around 13.
Yeah.
It's a really good card. So
I agree.
I would
pick those up.
Check it out.
All right, Beastie Boys. What's it all about? Yeah. All right. We're just going to move on. So I don't like to do this normally, but I'm going back to a card that I had picked when I did the ninjas.
Well, we kind of insta-spec this, though, didn't we? Or did you specifically talk about this one?
I think so. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. But it's Ink Eye's Servant of Ani, and either the pre-release ones, which has the different art, or the from the Vault ones. I would say go for both of them, but both of them foil. I'm just telling you right now that they're moving on eBay. I'm selling them for. I took them off. Not took them off. I changed the price because originally I had them for like $6-7, and then I sold probably 15 of them because I bought a whole bunch of them. And I was like, damn, I have this underpriced right now. And there was others that had it priced around where I was, so I took it off and put it up to $13. Well, everybody else did the same because they were selling so quick, and there's limited amount of copies left on TCG. I know you can go on there right now and get them for $6 because I had them in my cart and I was like, no, I don't need to get them anymore. Other people can buy them, but there's quite a few.
That was so nice of you.
I know. I bought enough of them and sold enough back that I felt like I needed to share the wealth a little bit. But these are still, there isn't a lot, but they're under 20 copies of the foil of each kind, and I think this is going to get up to 12. It's already selling for $12-13 on eBay, but I think it could reach 15 to 20 pretty quick here because normal EDH players, it takes a while for cards like this to go up. But what we're seeing right now is when you get a hyped commander, you get
It happens quick.
Yeah, and stuff sells right away, so you can sell it at whatever price that's at. But then that gradually is going up. So this card, I think, is going to reach easily $15, if not $20, within the next few months.
Okay, I'll keep holding mine then.
Yeah, I would. I actually am about to pull mine. I'm pulling a couple copies off because I think it's going to reach 20 of each of it, so I don't sell them all away. But it's a must-have in the Ninja deck. It's a pretty damn good card.
You have to have all the ninjas because there's only like 12 of them.
Yeah, but as we saw with the Ninja deck, you don't necessarily have to have them. Like, you just need your commander to get through and do her thing.
Yeah.
But having more ninjas helps. But with Conspiracy and the adaptation one, Arcane adaptation, those two help out so much that you don't have to. Sorry, I'm boring you, Mr. Yanni.
Well, you've already said that you've already talked about this one, and I agree.
So now you're really bored. But anyways, this is one of the ones that I still would have in the deck because you don't necessarily have to have every ninja, although I do. But anyways, go and get it. Larry, last pick.
This one's going to be a little random, but it's going to be Hada Freeblade game day promo.
It's sweet art.
Yeah, it's full art. 1 mana, 0/1. It's an ally from the old World Wake, so it's I think it's just kind of a decent card. This card did shoot up to like $6-8 when the Battle for Zendikar came out because they were like, allies are coming back, baby, and then all of them were awful.
Yeah,
like it was just like, well, we can't do anything with all of these good. So I think. Again, we're getting far enough away from Battle from Zendikar that a lot of the backlash from that, I kind of want to talk about that someday too. Just like Battle for Zendikar is almost very similar to like the Chronicles debacle. All right. So, but
whole
it's
episode.
$3.
We have to do that for Lowry lore time because it could be kind of like a little lore thing.
If
but
we're
it's
going
not
back
lore.
to Zendikar, but we can. I probably should do a
Lowry lore time
for Ravnica since we've done.
That's gonna be coming up. Lowry's homework. You just gave yourself homework.
Yeah, well, I want to improve our show by having me talk more.
Yeah. What a douche. We're at your house and you don't even have beer.
It's like $3. You want me to go check? I might have one
good.
here.
We're good.
Yeah,
it's at the end of the episode. What are we going to do? Crack it on the outro, just us drinking as the whole dung. You like that? I got the
You got it down.
When the boys hear that, they just freak out. Just an FYI. No, not like that. They start jamming. Rock out.
That's not freaking out.
Well, like freak out. Like, all right, go ahead. Go with your thought.
No, that's fine. We talked while talking about how to Freeblade. So, I mean, it's kind of a random card that I think is kind of a cool one. I'm not going to say go all in on it or anything. It's probably going to keep on kind of creeping down as well. I would just say if you see it, pick it up, or if you're trying to fill out a cart order.
Or if you're making an ally deck.
Or if you want to make an ally deck.
That's a pretty sweet art, full art. I didn't even know it existed. So I have one of my random 3 modern decks just in case we come across somebody that plays modern randomly and they don't have a commander deck. One of it is ally, but it doesn't have him in it, so never mind. I will take everything I just said back.
If you make a different ally deck, then take everything that Adam just said, and then you're going to be perfectly fine.
This is one of the better allies, though. For a 1-drop and it gets a 1/1 counter every time an ally enters the battlefield, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So that was just a thought that I had.
Cool story, Hansel.
Shared it with you. Tell your friends.
I think that does it for this episode. We are running at about the same time we always are running.
Yeah, wow. We really were able to stretch that one.
Yeah, we did.
Thank you for putting up with us through that one.
Hey, I didn't think it was bad at all. I think we actually did pretty good with it. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. And
yeah, just like the mechanics and the little intricacies there, I think there's probably a lot more depth to those as well. I think a lot of these... at least 4 different ones are really kind of intricate and kind of new and interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of Mentor as a commander thing.
The fact that you get to choose which counter it goes on and makes it a little more interesting for me. Because normally they don't give you that choice a lot of times.
Yeah, but a 1/1 counter is kind of...
I know. It's not a lot, but...
Meh. You got to be pretty aggro for it. So.
Yeah. Anyways, that'll do it for this week's episode. You can follow us on Twitter at CommanderSmiths.
You can email us at CommanderSmiths@gmail.com.
You can YouTube us. Why do I say that? But you can subscribe or share our YouTube video, which is
I feel like
actual
I like
audio.
YouTube us. Nobody else says that.
Yeah.
We're very original on
You
that.
can YouTube us.
You can YouTube us.
Which means you can subscribe or like or share our videos. Audio videos. No videos yet.
Do you want to promise that we're going to start doing actual videos
We
here?
are going to be
sometime soon in the future?
How the F are we going to do our Battle of the Boxes when you're going to be out of town? We're all like out of town all the time.
Yeah, we're going to figure that out. Yeah, we're so cool.
Yeah. I'm out of town, the brother's wedding, and then we're doing, hopefully this next podcast, hopefully we're not hungover. We'll see.
No, we're
what
definitely going to be hungover.
I know. It's going to be Sunday. We're going to be doing the next podcast, hungover as hell. And then we're good for a couple weeks, and then you're gone for where?
2 weeks. Going to Germany.
Germany.
Bringing my son to see his great-grandmother.
Nice. So then we'll have some sweet episodes, but that's exactly when Ravnica's
we'll
coming
have to
out.
figure
So
out. Yeah, we'll have to figure out what the heck we're doing for release.
we might do Battle of the Boxes
later.
But we'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. But anyways, that'll do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week with more spoilers, hopefully.
Yeah, they have to start, right? They're not just going to release it all the week before. They're like, plop.
Yeah, come on. Somebody's got to spoil this, like, accidentally. You know, they've always been like, somebody steal a sheet and put it out. Somebody's got to be doing this.
This is why people steal their shit, is because they don't release it in a reasonable time frame.
And the other thing is, they need to spoil it all this week because we need next episode to be very easy because I'm going to have a very big headache.
Yeah.
So I just want to be like, all
all
right, this card is really cool.
This card looks really cool.
I'm going to puke.
Wow.
We might have to be drinking before the podcast starts
that's
because,
kind of a good idea.
you know, that bite the hair of the dog. Is that how the saying goes? Drink the hair of the dog.
That sounds more accurate.
Bite the hair of the...
You know, there are underage people that listen to our show.
Yeah, we found that
You need
out.
to respect that a little bit more. How about you don't come to work, quote unquote work, hungover.
All right, I don't know how to end this, so we're just going to end it. We'll
Thanks
see
for
you later.
coming. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming over and hanging out in my basement.
Woohoo! Larry's basement.
Thank you. Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.